Hi guys, and welcome to today's task. For today's task, we are talking all things mouse traps. It is springtime, which is a great time of the year. It means lawn care can start. We can start doing things outside of the house. Projects inside can be put maybe on hold, and now we can work outside. But that does mean one other thing. The rodents are active. The rodents become very active this time of the year because the snow is gone, it is warming up outside, and they are looking for food. So now's the time of year where you really do need to be monitoring mice in particularly the most, I would think. There are a few traps I'm going to go over today and also a device to help deter mice, hopefully. But I will give you a warning, the devices I'm using are meant to kill the mice. I am not in any way trying to protect them. They come into my house, I need them gone, and lethal is the way it works. So tried and true is the original snap style mouse trap. This guy's been around for a long time and everybody recognizes them, and they honestly work the best. I think they are efficient and it makes the mess a little easier, to be honest. Next, if you want to go a more humane route, is the multi-catch. This allows the mouse to get in and it is trapped, and then you have to do with it what you want. Not my favorite, and I'll explain a little more in detail why. Next is the ultrasonic. This is not a trap. It will not catch mice, but it does hopefully help deter them. It puts out a ultrasonic signal that is supposed to disrupt the mouse. I don't know that they work, but reading the reviews, everybody says that they do, so we'll try them out. But I would keep in mind, this is only a deterrent. It's more preventative. It's not perfect. These are the original snaps, and I don't know if you know this, but they actually do have some technology built into them other than just snapping hard on that mouse, hopefully killing it instantly and catching that rodent you've been dealing with. But it does have some things to it. So if you actually look on your mouse trap, it has a firm side and a sensitive side. And depending on what size of mice you're trying to capture, you may need to be in between there. So when you put your stick over that's gonna hold it, you put it to the sensitive side for little mice and the firm side for bigger mice. Now, this is not a rat trap. You will need a bigger trap for that. We are dealing with field mice here, typically, or the typical house mouse. Setting the trap could not be more simple. You pull the lever back, put your latch arm forward, and then place this little tip on either the sensitive or the firm side. I am not going to take my thumbs off that because there's a good chance it will snap in my finger and I don't want to break a finger. They are very strong. When it comes to any of the traps I'm using, whether it is a lethal trap or a humane trap or multi-catch, whatever you want to call them, I'm baiting them with peanut butter. And I'll be honest, I'm using natural peanut butter just because that's what we have in the house. But I think it works better. It is more potent, it's more fragrant. The mice smell it and they go after it a little bit more aggressively, I personally think. Next on our list is these multi-catches, and you don't really have to do a lot to set them. They have doors on either side. The mouse will go into it, and as it puts its weight there, it actually closes in the back, and now it's trapped. Once it steps off, it can no longer get past those ramps, can only come down one way. The trap also has a secondary mechanism. It has these sticky pads that you want to bait them with as well. One, because it stops the mouse from really trying to aggressively get out. It just contains things. And then not only that, it makes it so that you can pull this whole pad out with the mouse stuck to it and dispose of it. So these may not be considered a lethal trap, but that mouse is not really gonna survive it if you've got the sticky pads in. If you want the mouse to survive, bait it just like this, and then take this somewhere and let your mouse loose. Do not do it near my house. So this is another option. What I like about these options is a dog or animal really can't get into it. So they're really safe for the house. Kids don't play with them too much. They're low profile. They can sit under devices. We have one under our oven and it's not bothering anything. And it makes it just a little cleaner, I feel like. Now you'll notice I'm not using poison in anything for two reasons. One, if the mouse gets into poison, if it's just poison set out somewhere, the mouse can go and you don't know where it will die in your home. It will smell and it can take months for that smell to finally go away. And at the end of the day, you still have a rotting mouse carcass in your wall somewhere. That's horrifying to me. Number two, and this is the one that I'm more importantly worried about than anything, is an animal or a child getting into that poison. It is not worth having that stuff in my house for me to get rid of some rodents. I would rather have a mouse in my house than somebody that I care about or something that I care about getting into it and being fatal. So I do not use poisons. I don't even bring them onto my property for that purpose. Now you know how the devices work and you know how to bait them. So where do we want to set them? Preferably by entrances or at least weak spots. You know, garage doors seal, but they don't seal perfect. That's a vulnerability that you run. Door sills are a vulnerability that you run. So I'm typically putting them next to doorways or window ways where I can see kind of potential hazards. But how do you set them up? If you're using the multi-catch, the sides that have the gate, we want to put right up against the wall. For two reasons. That's where mice run, and two, there's a dumb luck chance that that mice might be zipping across this wall and run through into that and trap himself without hunting for any food. So all of the mice traps, you really do want them set against a wall somewhere because that's where the mice will run. They typically don't go across a floor. They kind of follow these walls. I don't know if they're basing their kind of navigation off of it, but that's what they do. So we got to think like them a little bit. Put it against the wall, not under the door, but away from the door. Maybe over this way. I like these traps too because they can just sit here and I don't really have to worry about them. I do check them, but it's not really a problem. Whereas our snap traps. If I know that this is going against the wall, I want to bait it with peanut butter first, putting it right here in the middle. And then I want to set it on the ground, roughly where it's going to go to set it. I don't want to set it in my hands because one, it could go off and it's going to pinch and hurt. And most likely it will go off when you try to set it down. They're that sensitive. So put it on the ground. Pull your snap bar over. Take your latch and put it back over top. And this won't go off. And I do recommend keeping your fingers right there. Just something in the way. And then putting our trap, whether on sensitive or firm. The mice I'm seeing around here are fairly small and lightweight, so I want them on sensitive to go off. Because this trap is going to be set in the garage, I'm not worried about anything being underneath it. I can clean up and wipe everywhere around this. If I'm going to be setting the trap somewhere other than wipeable surfaces, for instance, carpet, I'm setting a rag down that I don't care about and that I can wash. I'm still going to try and keep it against the wall, and we're going to set it the exact same way. Placing it on the ground, setting it back, putting our lever in, and I'm going to move this just a little bit closer, keeping my hand on there. Oh, maybe not. Okay. Just like that. And I want this guy against the wall for the same reason. If a mouse comes by, it may bump it, be dumb luck, but if it's going to be coming by here, it will get a whiff of that bait on there, peanut butter, whatever you're baiting it with. I don't recommend cheese. I don't think cheese puts out a strong enough scent. Peanut butter is very good. It's reliable. The reason I'm putting the rag down, trigger warning, is because the mouse can bleed a lot. And I've actually seen it where they've been captured, it snapped them, and they've just wiggled all around for a few minutes, and blood is everywhere. I don't want that in my carpet, and I want to make cleanup as easy as possible. So use the rags if you are on carpet. Last but not least is our ultrasonic emitter. I don't know if it's like a sound wave or what it is. I can't hear it running. It doesn't bother me. It's not bothering our pet. So I think these help. Everything I read online said that they saw a reduction in mice, if not in kind of a complete eviction of mice in their house once they put these up. But you do need to pay attention to, it only covers 700 square feet. So one in the garage will be fine. A couple on each floor, or I would get multiple of these. They're about $30 a piece. I'm hoping that they are kind of a good end-all be-all deterrent for the mice. I don't know. It comes just like this with a plug-in. You plug it in and it doesn't automatically start working, which I think is silly. I wish it would. You do have to turn it on, and when you see the green light, you know it's working in theory. I like this, it's simple. My worry is if a power outage comes those will all turn off and not just automatically turn back on. So in the event of a power outage, you need to go back through and check these and make sure they're back up and running. That's kind of an oversight I feel like the company had on that, but is what it is. We're gonna try these out and see if they do keep the mice down. We live in a field area where field mice are very present. I saw them multiple times when I was digging our footings and foundation. Anytime I would be rustling through kind of fresh dirt with the tractor, I saw mice running. And according to my neighbors, they see them quite a bit too. What I learned is that anybody can have mice in their house. So don't be alarmed if you find one. Just get it trapped, get rid of it, and then look around the perimeter of the house for the vulnerability where they could be getting in. Maybe it's a hole in the foundation, maybe it's a door's threshold that's not sealed tight, who knows what, but preventative work is always the most crucial. You guys, hopefully you learned something about mouse traps today. Hopefully you can use this information to deter whatever mouse or rodent infestation you may have and eliminate it. If you have any tips or tricks of your own, leave them in the comments. I would love to learn more about this situation. We didn't see mice a lot in our old house, but we are seeing them a ton here, so we want to be proactive. If you guys like today's video, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. And until next time, see you later.